Rio is a second-year student at Mamazomo Academy. Every morning, he heads to school with his childhood friend, and thinks to himself that her healthy pair of baby bumpers seem to be getting bigger every day. He remembers that she was a D cup last summer, but swears that she's probably grown to an F cup by now. Mina tells him that he's correct in his analysis, knowing what he was thinking about this entire time. At school, 3 girls get soaked in the rain, so Rio tells them that they should be careful or they'll catch a cold. They thank him for the concern, and he continues by telling them that he can see their plot armor, and tells them that their wet plot armors are pretty damn awesome. The girls run away, realizing now that he's the legendary pervert, infamous throughout the school. While walking home, he sees a girl standing in the rain, as he wonders what he did to receive such a blessing from the gods. He focuses up, offers his umbrella, and tells her she's in front of his house, and that she can change into dry clothes if she wants. He tells her that he's not a creep, and he's sworn to always protect women from harm. She takes the offer and dries herself up. He introduces himself, and she tells him that she knows who he is. She tells him that she was looking for him as she grabs his hand. Her bracer lights up, and she murmurs that he's pretty damn weak, but that he'll do for now. He's confused, but can't think for too long as she embraces him. She asks him if she can have his heart, but he tells her that they just met, and asks her if she's sure about this. Just then, she pierces him with a dagger, and he falls to the ground. She takes a bath, while making strange faces, as she seems like she's really enjoying that bath. After the bath, she kicks him and tells him to wake up. Suddenly, he grabs her ankle and finds his face planted on her bacon sandwich. She lands a knee and pummels him for stealing her bacon sandwich. He tells her that he's never done S&M before, but tells her that it feels kinda good. He tells her that he should have a good view of her white plot armor in this angle, but realizes that she didn't equip her bottom plot armor after her shower. Suddenly, a light appears on Rio's chest. Lara says it's impossible, as she sees the light make its way into her bracer. She asks him what changed from before, realizing that he has a secret power within him that didn't show up the first time around. She tells him that she's a shinigami, a grim reaper that collects the energy of dead souls. She tells him that she temporarily formed a contract with him, and tells him that he should be honored to be contracted with the princess of the great Ristal family. He tries to show his appreciation with a kiss, but she spanks him, calling him a dirty boy. She tells him that shinigamis require energy from living souls to maintain their existence in the human world. He tells her he's fine with the contract, since she showed him the shape of her lettuce when she shared her bacon sandwich. She summons her Reaper, and tells him that she didn't mean to share her bacon sandwich, and that she'll erase his memory. When suddenly, a monster appears before them. Lara summons a barrier, encircling the area with an energy field. She then summons her battle armor, while Rio watches on diligently at the formation of her battle armor. The monster attacks, but she defends and follows up with an attack. She hits her mark, but the monster lands a close-ranged attack. The battle rages on, and Lara begins to run out of energy, causing her armor to dematerialize. Rio stares at her teacups, and as the beast underneath begins to come out of its cave, Rio has a sudden realization. The monster is about to land a finishing blow, but Rio comes to the rescue, charging in and grabbing onto Lara's baby bumpers. She tries to get him off, but he grips even tighter, when suddenly Lara realizes that her energy is fully replenished. The monster grabs Lara, but she fights back and destroys her enemy. Lara doesn't understand what happened, so Rio explains that engaging in plot development activities refills his energy, allowing him to transfer more energy to Lara. She kicks him in the nuts and tells him that she's in search of a hero who has energy equivalent to 10,000 humans, and that she's in the human world to find her destined partner. She tells him that he's gross, but that she'll use him for now since she's formed the contract already. She also reminds him that she's a shinigami, and gives him the unfortunate news that his death will come in 3 months. Rio gets depressed, wondering what he should do, when Lara tells him that she can save him. She tells him that after making a contract with the hero, she'll have the power to grant him a new life. Suddenly, Lara collapses, saying that she's low on energy again. After she passes out, Rio begins to think about the smell of her sweat, thinking that her unique scent gently stimulates the receptors in his nostrils. He begins to glow as he realizes that everything about Lara turns him on. In the morning, Rio checks his baby maker as we find out that he calls it the kingdom, and is shocked to see that his kingdom isn't flourishing, despite the fact that he just had an incredibly perverted dream. Lara tells him that she took some more of his energy during the night, realizing now why his kingdom was strangely inactive. She tells him that he'll take a couple days to recover his energy, telling him that she took quite a lot out of him last night. At school, Lara checks the energy level of everyone she meets, but none have the energy levels of that of a hero. After checking almost every student in the school, Lara begins to lose hope, when suddenly, Lara's distant relative, Quell, appears. She hugs Lara and calls her big sister as Rio stares at the gentle contact between the two beautifully perky buns, causing Lara to grab his face. Quell tells Lara that she found the one. She leads her to him and forces Lara to check his energy when suddenly chains wrap her up, restricting her movements. While Quell puts the other boy to sleep, Rio grabs Lara, determined to save her. He is able to touch her bracelet, restoring her energy and allowing her to escape. The two activate their powers as they get ready for battle. Rio watches on, admiring the magical black color that makes girls look slimmer than they really are. He looks at Quell, commenting that her gear is S-rank with her incredible underboob game. Quell says that she is here to seal Lara, telling her that she'll be the one making the contract with the hero. They fight, and Quell puts Lara in a headlock as she seems to have the upper hand. Quell is about to finish her when suddenly Rio interjects, paralyzing them with his grip. Quell didn't expect Lara to have such a formidable ally. He refills Lara's energy, allowing her to overpower Quell and claim her victory. Quell retreats and the two head home. At home, Mina sits with Caesar by the entrance, asking Rio if he's hiding anything from her. He tells her everything that happened, while Lara assures Mina that there is nothing going on between the two, causing Mina to feel relieved. The next day at school, Mina informs Lara that there are 8 people in their school famous for their superpowers. She introduces Lara to the first, who has the ability to identify the bust size of any girl's marshmallows just by looking at them. Rio gets up and is first to shake Munio's hand, acknowledging that she has an overpowered ability. Lara goes for a shake to check her energy, but Munio rejects, telling her that she won't shake hands with a girl whose bust is less than 80 centimeters. She claims that small baby bumpers are unbecoming of a woman, and that women can only become goddesses with big bazookas. She points at the girl on the screen, who is also Rio's celebrity crush. Rio guesses that Iria is at 90 centimeters, but Munio corrects him, claiming she's a G-cup at 92 centimeters. Rio knows that it's 90 centimeters and not 92, as he knows everything about his favorite idol. But she tells him that she markets herself as a 90 because it's Iria's way of being modest. Munio tells Rio to check for himself at the Merlot Life headquarters where she'll be signing autographs tomorrow. He tells her that he will, and if she's off by even a millimeter, that she will have to shake hands with Lara. At home, Rio hugs his Iria pillow and tells Lara that Iria's juggernauts are so big that anything in the whole wide world can rest between them. Meanwhile, Mina looks at a magazine with Iria and claims that hers are also at a 92. Just then, her parents stop by with a red glow on their eyes, as we find out that Quell has entranced them. She checks Mina's energy and finds that she has a strong reserve. She begins to talk about Rio, and the bracelet lights up even more, realizing that Mina's energy is tied to her feelings for Rio. The next day, Rio and Lara are headed to meet Iria when Mina and Quell show up, as Mina tells them that they formed a provisional contract as well. At the Merlot headquarters, Rio finally gets his chance to meet Iria and wastes no time to get her autograph. We find out that Iria also has a bracelet, indicating she too is a shinigami. She takes Rio's measurement and thinks that he is just another loser. Munio is next, and after closer inspection, realizes that she was wrong all along, and that Iria is actually at 92.5 centimeters, which blows Rio's incredibly perverted mind. Iria touches Munio's hand, realizing that she has a lot stored in the tank, when suddenly, Lara stops by, revealing that the two are rivals. It's not long after they decide to duel, as Iria activates her battle armor. It is revealed that Iria's company, Merlot, is a shinigami company that uses Iria's idol status to take a constant supply of energy from humans. Iria summons a lightning dragon, which turns to a sword, as she tells Lara that she'll cut her into pieces. They clash, and all that Rio can see is the incredible physics of the jiggle jiggle, admiring all that the 92.5 centimeters has to offer in the fight. Lara tells him to shut it, but he tells her that he can't help it, claiming that no man wouldn't dream of what would fit between those pairs that are softer than Charmin Ultra Soft. Quell tells Lara that she won't be able to beat Iria without restoring her energy through Rio's erotic power, and tells her that she should let Rio touch her mini chestnuts before it's too late. Iria, realizing that Rio is Lara's only source of power, uses her big pineapples to seduce Rio, who seems to be taking critical hits from Iria's poses. Lara goes on the offensive, refusing to use Rio's perverted powers to defeat her rival, but Iria quickly puts her down with a lightning attack. Lara refuses again, so Iria uses another lightning attack that paralyzes Lara as she begins to take massive damage. Rio wonders why she's being so stubborn, and Mina realizes it's because Rio, who is supposed to be her partner, is getting turned on by the enemy and seems to only like girls with big kahunas. Iria charges another lightning blast, claiming that this is the end. Just then, Rio steps in, taking the full force of the blast, stating that there is more to a girl than big watermelons. He says that every girl has their own treasures, and to a man, those treasures are what moves a man. Lara catches him, and receives all the erotic powers that Rio has left. She powers up, and sends a fire blast that takes Iria out in one blow. Lara smiles at Rio, as she begins to understand Rio's perverted ways a bit more. The next day, Lara catches Rio watching Iria on TV, and she asks him if Iria's true identity didn't affect his opinion of her. Rio says that it certainly did, but also says that it's easy to let little details go when a girl has big rocket launchers. He thinks about what he just said, and realizes that he was a bit insensitive, so he apologizes, telling her that he knows she's sensitive to the word little. He apologizes again, realizing that he just said the word little again. Meanwhile, Mina and Quell are outside, wondering what all the noise is about. At school, the group find out that Iria has joined their class, and the boys in the class can't be more excited. She takes measurements of the boys, so Lara asks Iria if they can have a chat. Outside, Lara finds out that Merlot is also after the hero. Iria says she isn't much interested in the hero, but that she's down to find the hero before Lara, just to piss her off. Quell watches the show from nearby, when suddenly Rio intervenes, telling the girls that girls shouldn't hurt each other. Lara decides to walk away, saying that she doesn't have time to waste fighting a nobody. Iria gets pissed and is about to attack, when Rio suddenly shouts to stop, and tells her to hold her pose, as he worships her figure once more. Realizing his infatuation, Iria decides to seduce Rio, asking him to give her a tour of the school. She asks him if he likes it flat like leveled ground paved with concrete, or if he likes wiggling sacks of fat that jiggle jiggle. He says he likes the jiggle jiggle, and gladly offers to give her a tour. Just then, he feels the aura from Lara, realizing that she hasn't left yet. Iria asks if she can borrow Rio, and Lara tells her to do whatever she wants as she storms away. Determined to find the hero even more, Lara talks with many students, and finds out about the leader of some research group, who is said to have the greatest talent seen in several decades. Meanwhile, Rio takes Iria to the girls' changing room, breathing in the oxygen, and stating he has just stepped into the forbidden Holy Land. He says he sees it all, looking at an aisle and vividly imagining the contents of the aisle when fully occupied. Iria tells him that he's a pretty funny dude. She asks him if he really wants to see a girl changing that badly, as she summons a ball of light that turns into a little critter holding her school gym clothes. She tells him that she'll change as she removes her skirt, causing Rio to fall down on his knees, crying as he commends her for knowing the appropriate way to take off a school uniform. Rio watches her change completely, and shouts that his life is complete. She tells him that she's interested in his power, and tells him that her dinosaur eggs may bring out more of his latent power than Lara's M&Ms. She grabs his hand and places it in the valley of her two large mountains. She uses the power of the jiggle jiggle, rocking back and forth, but she checks her bracelet, and to her surprise, his energy didn't rise at all. Just then, Mina bangs on the door, telling the two that Lara is in trouble. Lara and Quell are battling a monster that is too powerful even for their combined strength. Rio and Iria arrive, and Iria immediately realizes that it was a monster sent from the Merlot Corporation. She gets pissed, saying that she had everything under control. Lara's armor dematerializes, revealing her mini milk duds to Rio as she punches him in the face. She tells him not to look and calls him a jerk, when suddenly he grabs her, lighting up the world with his blue, erotic power. Iria asks why he's reacting better to Lara's mini snuggle pups than her big shoulder boulders. He says he doesn't know either, but he knows one thing for certain, claiming that not everyone can set his heart aflame. He calls Lara's name and tells her that she's the only one for him. He thrusts his hip and shouts that his kingdom is sparkling for her as his energy floods into Lara's soul. With her newfound energy, Lara takes the monster out with one swing. In the aftermath, Rio somehow ends up on top of Iria and is shocked to feel peaches instead of melons. Lara picks up whatever this thing is, exposing Iria of a hideous crime, using an illusion spell to make her bra pads more realistic to the human eye. Iria begins to cry, stating that her career is over now that her secret is out, but Rio comforts her, telling her that size doesn't matter, and that the warmth they contain matters more. He tells her that the proof is right before her eyes, telling her his kingdom has come upon you. Lara then remembers about the potential hero candidate, and the group head to the library, when suddenly a group of dudes tell Rio that he's late, placing a headdress on his head, as Rio is chosen to lead all the perverts in the school to the promised land.